Yeah, I hear my calling. Yeah, I hear my calling. As you hear it calling. Yeah, I hear my calling. Knowledge of the fallen. All I see is winning. Yeah, since my crawling. Paid for a happy ending. Got a cost. Coasting on these ruins. Hitting corners on these megaliths. Pasadena is the crown of Los Angeles. I'ma land my plane. It's the mothership. Where it is. Me and my real ones got fellowship. You and yours. Low morale, I guess you call it more. Man, where they begging at the swamps. Catch me at the ruins, mounds, pyramids, you want. FLG, mounds daily. Documenting field research. Get real in the field, man. Pull up your skirts. Hands in each other back pocket. Man, stop it. All y'all do is dick jocking. Can't lock it. Can't spend too much time on the phone. Yeah, I hear my calling. Yeah, I hear my calling. As you hear it calling. Yeah, I hear my calling. Knowledge of the fallen. All I see is winning. Yeah, since my crawling. Paid for a happy ending. Got a cost. Coasting on these ruins. Hitting corners on these megaliths. Culver City born, but I'm Pasadena raised. Crown of the Valley, Los Angeles pedestal. Fuck, hate to get it right. Calling out dirty aboriginals, always knowledge blocking. Yeah, I'm here to stop it. Elmo pseudo in the knowledge, I got rockets. I'll blow your dumb ass bullshit to the moon. I don't give a fuck, man, you can just move. Oh, y'all really talk all this pseudo CIA? I don't really give a fuck, I don't play. No, I don't play. Not at all. Real in the field researching by heart. Been doing this shit since the start. Nigga, yeah, I hear my calling. Yeah, I hear my calling. As you hear it calling. Yeah, I hear my calling. Knowledge of the fallen. All I see is winning. Yeah, since my crawling. Paid for a happy ending. Got a cost. Coasting on these ruins. Hitting corners on these megaliths.
Yep. Honorable admiration, all my good brothers and sisters of the feather. Got a real quick one for everyone out there. Just a quick reminder that I've been sitting on the Gawenöga Yoha for a while, and I think right now with the momentum of what's going on in the world today, that it would be a real decent time to drop a quick 5-minute video just on a couple of Gawenöga, and that's a rough pronunciation of it, So Gawenöga Yoha, okay, and it means the old language, as you see right here. So you see the old language. Now, the cynical language, unfortunately, is full of all kind of pigeon words. It's they have weirded it out. They have bastardized my hood ancestors' language, and the name hood. If you look up the word hood etymology, it's gonna point you to Germany. But actually, the Germans learned the words here in America in the 19th century. And just like the other words in the German language that do not belong to Germany, many other words such as hood, house, shoe do not belong to the German language. If you're trying to get something honest out of a Frenchman, a German, a Italian, a British, or whatever about linguistics, about knowledge, or any of these things, you're losing your mind. You have to be out of your damn mind. Okay? There's so much that I can say, and you can really go back and watch the videos I've been putting out for the last 7 years on this channel. Unfortunately, many of the other videos where I put out stuff, the channel was gone. There's nothing I could do about it. But I can correct many of the mistakes that are being made today. So there are many other languages, and all they did was take words out of Gawenöga, rather it be Algonquin, rather it be Cherokee, rather Anishinaabe or Aninuia. These languages have Ani in front, Ani Titoba. There's another, in fact, there's a couple of the Anis. These languages, all they did was take words out of Gawenöga. Okay, so everyone gets an understanding. So in the English language, we have the word sad. So if you go look up the word sad, just like many other words, it's going to point you to some type of German language. It's going to go German. It's going to say, oh, it goes to Germany, and the source is French and Latin. Everything's going to say Germany, French, Latin, English, French, Latin. Everything's going to go French, Latin. And unfortunately, for many that do not have a family heritage dictionary, you don't quite understand what I'm saying. So this is going to be a very tedious thing to explain this because many are just not getting it. And I see the confusion has carried on. So when they started creating these so-called biblical names, we're thinking that these biblical names came from them when they have no spiritual or linguistics in their heart. These people, as in wisdom, wit, as in creating anything or innovating anything, they are new to the world. Okay, so people who are Pan-African, they will listen to people like John Henry Clark trying to explain to them that Johnny Came Lately started giving themselves names that they had no idea what they were doing. Paraphrasing what John Henry Clark said with his CIA loving self, that they had no right giving themselves these certain names because these certain names that he's talking about them giving themselves are actually names that they wrote into history giving themselves during the Reconstruction. And there's no way around this. You're going to have to deal with the Reconstruction period and apply that to all history. The AIU took over in the 1860s. They are the contributors, the prioritors. They are the people who were printing out paper and putting some type of wealth on it. These are the people who were doing it. They're called the Alliance Israelite Universal. They were working with the Royal Society. In fact, they are the royal company, literally. These are the things that are simple. I'm simplifying it for everyone to understand. So in order for people to control history, they had to learn a whole bunch of words. So when you look up all these so-called Portuguese, let me turn this down some more. In fact, let me pause that. When you look up these so-called Portuguese names, what you're looking at are Ethiopian names. That's what you're really looking up. When you're looking at these so-called Bible names like John really goes to Iwan. But you go into Latin, you're going to see Giovanni. You're going to see Johannes. So how does Latin have two different names, sound nothing alike, for those names? But then when you go look into the Coptic stuff, you'll find you have a person named Johannes David Johann Ackerblad. And then you look up his name, Johannes, and then you look up the word Yanni, and then you'll find in the Greek the name Yanni. So what I'm saying is that you cannot give these people who did not have these languages or have these names or have these words. They took these words from all over the place and started making language. If you have a family heritage dictionary, You literally know this because it's in there. They're explaining in details. They literally give you 5 sets of names, of the origin of names. They're explaining it in details that these languages, English, German, French, Italian, Spanish, Polish, and Swedish are on the 5th list in Family Heritage Dictionary, origins of names. Okay? These are the creations in the 19th century. Hago Salamayahu in the interview told me Europeans created nothing. They did nothing. That the Ethiopians, his people, Tobiah, his people, ruled Europe. They ruled up there. That was a part of their territory, their nations. And anybody can go look at these remade videos of the Middle East. All you're going to see is some big head, goofy tooth looking Ethiopians. That's all you're going to see. So there's a great deal of information that is being misconstrued. Fortunately, those who do not have a family heritage dictionary, you're not going to know about these things. I had that book in 2013. I've taken pictures. I have these pictures. I sit on the information. Origins of names, 1 to 5. I have all of them, each and every single one of them. They did not have no language. They took words from specific groups. They took words from the Tamazight. They took words from Tubidawiyet. They took words from Matoki. They took words from Nobi'in. Okay? They took words from Luo. They took words from the Mongola, also known as the Oromo people. We have the Amharic. We have all these different groups where they were taking different stories and taking these different words from all these places, Andaman Islands, Australia. It goes on and on and on. And they were grouping these words together. It was the German Jesuits doing this. We need to, although they do have separate nations and separate names, we need to stop separating them. Yes, when they count themselves, they will say that they are one person from a specific nation. Ultimately, they are the same people. We can give them that. Cool. But not all the same people. From their mouths themselves, I have had people in what is called Europe today, specifically a person in Switzerland, tell me that they have specific ways of differentiating each other and identifying each other. So when people try and say anyone uses researching of skulls or anything and they call it racist or whatever, that's what they use on themselves. You have dolichocephalic, you have brachiocephalic. They identify and differentiate themselves in that matter from their own selves in that matter. Brachiocephalic head looking pale faces, dolichocephalic head looking faces. It's that simple from their own mouths. Not even going to tell you who it is. From his own mouth, said that his people came from Mongolia. These same dolichocephalic, brachiocephalic heads, and you got these box-shaped heads, which a lot of Native Americans got that box box-shaped looking, box jaw, weird-looking faces. Them, tiki head-looking cells. They have this. They are part of the brachiocephalic and the dolichocephalic. This is what they said about themselves. And when it came to the words that they speak, they have these words because they started categorizing, cataloging, and their journeys in search throughout the lands and getting words from all over the place. They have Tamil words, Dravidian words. That's why you have something that's called pie in the sky, Proto-European. They took words from all over the place. It becomes difficult when you use this information and you're going by way that they want you to go by. But once you look at the big picture of these words in these languages, it makes it very, very simple. Very simple. So when you look up certain words like house, shoe, you look up the word sad. If you're using their techniques, their methodologies, you're going to always fall under their trap. But if you use Gawenöga, then you can separate which words really come from here in America. So when you hear the word sad, that is actually a Gawenöga word. And the word sad is pertaining to Sadweli Gueta. Sad Ogueta. Again, Sad Ogueta. Sadoweli Gueta. Sadoweli Gueta. Just Sado Gueta, a rough way of pronouncing it. Sadoweli Gueta. How are you feeling? Sad doesn't mean you're in misery or something's wrong and you got a frown face. No, it means how are you feeling? Okay, when people respond to each other, you're not saying hello, hi. That's not a formal way that man, we do not talk to each other. Hey, what's up? What's up though? What up though? What it do? We have ways that we talk to each other. Hey, bro, what's happening? What's going on? What's up? How you feeling, bro? How you doing, man? We have ways that we communicate with each other. So a lot of ways that we have been communicating with each other using certain words, because many people are only using a few words. These ways of communicating with each other are absolutely incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. On my blog talk show, whenever me, almost Shongo from Cameroon, talk to each other, we greeted each other in almost every language possible that we knew at least 50 words from and knew how to pronounce them the right way. Every time, because me and almost Shongo are authentic linguists. We study languages, him being from over there, me being from over here. I already knew bits and pieces of the words and languages over here. So let me get my 5 minutes in now so everyone understand what's going on here. So when you see words like Niji and you're thinking that that's it, that's all, you're incorrect. Okay? Niji is a bastardized version from Gawenöga. And in Gawenöga, the proper word is Kwaji or Kwajiye. Kwajiye. That's my family, my relatives, my Kwaji. Now you see the word Niji? Okay, Niji, that's just Ni and G. We have Kwaji. Okay? So Sadoe Gueta Kwajiye. How you feeling, family? Instead of using the word family, which pertains to slave, you can just say Sadoe Gueta Kwajiye. How are you feeling, family? And your response will be, ah, man, Gado Igueta, Gado Igueta, Gado Igueta, Ga Wajiya Day. You know, make it real slow and simple. You know what I'm saying? So I'm feeling fine, family. Ga Wajiye Day. Gua Wajiye Day. Family. Okay? It's that simple. For a woman, it will be pronounced different. Not a woman, need the sisters to come in and do that and learn that. When the sisters are ready to get a full-on understanding of at least being able to say 50 to 200 different words instead of just saying simple ways of communicating with each other. Well, I can teach you how to have a whole paragraph with each other. Some people can only say a few words in what language they're studying. Me, on the other hand, I'm going to give you hundreds of words. I'm going to give you different phrases and ways of communicating with each other, and not just language either. I have plenty of language. I have tons of notepads and books full of languages. I have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them on me, and I have 4 of them in storage with countless languages from all over. So just regular old response. Sadoi Gueta. Kwajie. Gadoi Gueta. Ga Wajie Day. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling fine, fam. I'm feeling fine, fam. For the sisters, I'll give this one time. It's yay, Waji, yay, yay. All right, that's for her, pertaining to what she will say. And there's another way in the greeting, in the formal ways of greeting, will be ha, waji, yaye. All right, that's her. Like her saying it's she's good, her family's good. And for the men, ha wajia or what? Ha wajia, yay. He for his family. All right, all right, okay. Kwaji ya, okay, and that's for me, my hood ancestors, which would be Doaga, Doaga. You just say Doaga, Doega, Doega, or No Doaga. And many might be familiar with Ono Doaga. Okay, the big hill people, that's the mound people. Okay, so when you were greeting people and talking about from specific areas pertaining to what is called Iroquois, you have the big hill people and you have the Indian hill people. The Indian hill people who are around the Indian mounds, which are near the creeks, would be Segeho Dihe, Segeho Ono. Now, many of the people today who speak, which is Ogweoweaka, speak a very bastardized version, and they're real. It's real bad with the language. They cannot pronounce the words right, but at least they try their best. Got to give them credit for at least trying their best. So for the Big Hill people, the Onondawaga people, the No Dowaga people, and Dowaga, these are the greetings. For those who are Creek Indians of the mounds, the Segi Ho Di or Sege Ho Ono. Ono is another word for tribe. Gae or Gea. Ga, Gea, Ono. These are words pertaining to relatives. I don't like the word family, so we'll just say relatives. For relatives, many are under the impression that we did not have names or something of that sort when we did have names. It's just that we had titles for other people who did not speak our language, which would be a pidgin form, which is why a lot of names, if you have a family heritage books, the first part and the second part is going to explain that people receive names according to where they live and what they did. So for the Delaware people, now there's a confusion with the Delaware stuff going on. The actual name is Shigane. Shigane is one of the rough ways of pronouncing it, but it's actually Shaganil. Shaganilga. Or Hadai Shaganil or Hadai Shagaga. For the Tuscarora. Many people thinking that Tuscarora is the correct name. It is not. It's actually Das Gay Owe. Das Gay Owe. It even makes somewhat of a L sound. El. El. You have Gane Dawa Go. And you have the standing stone. My hood ancestors are connected to the Big Hill people and the Standing Stone people. My Craig ancestors are the Standing Stone people, the people around the rock, the Gasagua. The Gasagua, a bastardized version of it, is Askari. These names are stretched across planes. It's not a game at all with these linguistics and the things that's connected to us. So when it comes to somebody of the Standing Stone, it is On Elioga or Nelioga for the Standing Stone. For the Mohawk people, that is Ganyel Ge or Ganyel Ge Ono. They have the Ono at the end. Ono, Gae, Ga are the three different ways for identifying with specific relatives. Now, many might say, my good brother D-Red might say, man, if you don't know, if you don't have a connection to a creator or some type of divine being, ancestral, something like that, with your people, then he's like he will discard what you're saying, and I understand what he means by that because my hood ancestors we call on Hojel no Kada Oha. Again, Hojel no Kada Oha. And that is the creator. My Gawenöga language, Onodawaga, and hold on, y'all. Oneli Yoga, Nelly Yoga, Standing Stone, Big Hill people. These words, these main words that I'm using are actually words that were being put together in the 19th century to identify us in specific areas. So when you're seeing the 5 clans of the Iroquois nations becoming 6 in 1722, what's really going on here is they are grouping many of us into one by the specific areas that we lived at and what we were doing. So I'm showing you that what we're hearing about in the Family Heritage Dictionary went across the board in every language. We have specific names tied in directly to what we specifically did. So if anything that you ever heard in history about people making hoods or hoodies or anything, that is directly connected to my hood ancestors. They didn't just make hoods, they were also the people who were fishing in Canada. That's my hood ancestors, the main chiefs of the Onodawaga and the Oneli Yoga. That is the people, the Big Hill and the Standing Stone. Many might know them as Seneca and Oneida. There's a common name that many do not know about, but it's also connected to what is called Niji. Niji is just it's a real pigeonized form of identifying yourself. But when you want to talk about your relatives, you're gonna say Kwajia, Kwajia, my Kwajia. You see the G is in there, the JI is there. The JI sound, the G. Some might pronounce G as she. For another time, I will explain in details that the Iroquois are not from Canada and not from that area. They actually migrated to that area from the original homeland, which is in the Great Basin, which has over 100,000 archaeological sites. That is more archaeological sites than known world today combined. I mean, when I say, they will tell you in this language, African American. Let me pull it up. Let me see if I got it up already. Well, I'll just slide it in. Damn, I didn't have that up there. Okay, I don't have it on there. For African American in Gawenöga is very disrespectful. A lot of French, a lot of weirdos take it over. You know, they started moving over here later. Very few French women were marrying the men, as in my hood ancestor married a French woman. That is how the situation started. And that French woman, according to the consensus in the 19th century, was considered property of my hood ancestor. And till that French woman had a child, she had a different name. And when she had that child with that hood ancestor, she received the name Hester. Her whole French name was removed and her name became Hester Hood. Niji is connecting to us, but it's a pigeon form. For us, for the singular, it would be Haley G. Haley G. My Haley G. Hail the G. I love saying it this way. Hail the OGs. Yeah, that's right, because we was the OGs of Canada, the East Coast of America, and Central America. That's our history. And this is the language Gawenöga. If you look up the history of this language, Gawenöga, some call it Seneca, which is Ogueaweka, which is just the pidgin form of it. The old language is Gawenöga, Yoha. And that, when you look at the date, will say it's 10,000 years old. You can't date a language, so it's over 10,000 years ago. That's over 10,000 years. That's older than Meta Netter. That's older than cuneiform. That's older than everything down there that you're talking about with the Olmecs, the Aztecs, the Incas, the Toltecs. It's older than all of it. I mean, when I say for the group of Aborigines, the Aboriginals is actually Hadoel or Hadoe G. Haley G, Hadoe G. They have a pigeon form, which would be Ho Si, Ho Shi, Ho Chi. All right. And that's just one page in my notes. I'm going to go fast now. We have Ajadawisha. Ajadawisha, the Shah is actually Saha. Ajadawi Saha, the shirt, dress code. These are the people who were making clothes. Who are they? This is connected to Tuscarora. Ganidawa Goa, grasping the tree. This is again connected to the Tuscarora. This is connected to the hemp gatherers. The Tuscarora and the hemp gatherers. Many might hear about flat Earth. That many flat earthers will say that the American Indians were believers in flat Earth, when actually it was about just a specific area being laid flat. That would be Tonawanda. Many of our sisters still have the name Wanda. It wasn't until the 20th century until pale faces started taking on names like Wanda. But Tonawanda, Whaley Ni Saha Deheg Da, flat Earth. Where the president is, Hano Da Ga Nya Sige, the one who's next in line. All right, that's Saho, Noel, Net. We have the courthouse, the council. That's what we invented. We invented government. We invented government. We invented councils. We invented the so-called Constitution. And the language that I'm sharing with you now is what the Constitution originally was in. The Hadai Asahe Da Hugwe. Da Hugwa. Pardon. Hadai Asahe Da Hugwa. Saying it slow because the stuff is not easy to say. Just saying it fast. I want to make sure everyone gets this. And that is where the old men are. I mean, that's the courthouse, the council, where the old men are, where the courthouse and council takes place. That means our ancestors, this is a republic. Our ancestors are the republic. The republic just means the people. Republic, public, publius, if you want to take it to whatever language, don't care. It's for the people. When it comes to democracy, democracy is one of the most foolish, idiotic things on planet Earth known to man. It means that if someone says they want that 51 people agree with something and 49 people agree with something, the 51 people win. 49 people did not want that, so they're supposed to live with that? That's not how things work. They may have made it different to where instead of it being 51-49, it doesn't work. That the numbers have to be a little different, not so evenly balanced, because there's no way it's going to go 49-51 and then the 49 people have to deal with the fact that now everything's going to go with what the 51 people said. This is a republic, okay? This is a republic for which it stands. And a republic for which it stands, where the old men are in the courthouse and council is where the ruling, the voting, and decisions were made. It was not between the people. It was between the elders, the elder women, and the elder men. Not everyone. That democracy is foreign. That's brought to us by the KKK. Not for us. If you're a Democrat, you're dumb, period. So I don't care if you understand it or not. And if you're a Democrat, you're anti-American because you're following a communist, Marxist, retard party. full of and I'm gonna say full of pedophilia, child trafficking, and all kind of weirdo stuff that they got going on, trying to teach children how to cut their thing off and follow the same sex weirdo stuff they got going on. That is not our nature. That is not American. All right, let me finish this off so I can get back. I'll give a couple more minutes up in here. When it comes to people who were they cooked stones again. My Craig ancestors, they were into brick tending. They were into making houses with bricks. They were not just into making log cabins or making house with wood, which many of the houses across America were made with wood. Many houses were made with wood and brick. That was our specialty. Don't let anyone try and rob us of what our ancestors were inventing and innovating in the 19th century, not knowing what the hell they're talking about, because the sources are screwed by pale faces. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Brick cooked stone. That's the O Segwe Ihe. O Segwe Iha. O Segwe Iha. My name, Craig, goes back to Oscarik Ash, which goes back to Ascari, which goes back to Ga Sagwa. Sagwa. Ga Sagwa. Barrier, levee, foundation to build up an area like a dam. We have the Dega Sade Do. Dega Sade Do. For the holy building, the building that's holy was a building that we made for a specific reason to hold council where the old men were. It wasn't necessarily a building where someone went to go pray to some damn Jesus, Muhammad, a big toe, or a goddamn armpit. It was a place where we went to decide things and to get things in order when there was an issue between each other. Tobacco. There are so many different lies about our ancestors that they're saying that we were brought from Africa over here to work the tobacco fields when my Yokum ancestors, by the way, my Yokum ancestors refused to change their name. So they kept their original name, which is Yokum. That means that my Kwaji, my Kwaji on my mother's side, my Kwajia, my Kwaji, Yokum is our original name, and that is my mother's name, Yokum. And I have the records of my ancestors going back beyond 1830 with Yokum. My Yokum ancestors took on the so-called Ashkenaz, Khazarians, took them in, taught them how to build, taught them how to grow tobacco, taught them how to do trade with tobacco, taught them how to live. And when they could not, and that one couldn't reproduce with his own people because they have had some genetic issues since then, we had one of my ancestors who agreed to have a child with that person on my mother's line. And I have her picture. And her brother, her half brother, who actually had an Aboriginal mother and a father, has a famous picture in the Civil War, and he has his father's name passed down to him. So there's a lot of confusion with names and names being given. But let me carry on before I shut it down, y'all. Tobacco is Oyeligua. Oye Gua Oweha. I'm saying it slow. A lot of these pale faces and Native Americans, they do not pronounce these words right. Some of them were pissed off that I'm doing this. They really don't like that I do this, and they report my channel whenever I talk about this stuff because they do not want people to know about the secrets of Gawenöga. They only want them pronouncing it the way that they have bastardized and pigeonized it today in the Ogweoweaka way, which is absolutely incorrect. But me being lucky and having the benefit of having a grandmother who turned 92 today, who was the youngest out of all her siblings, many of her siblings still spoke Gawenöga. We have corn, which the corn at that time, a few hundred years ago, looks nothing like the corn today. but it was Onelio. Weha. We have the orange, the fruit, and the color. Oh, yeah. All right, so I'm going to end on the orange right there, y'all. Enjoy yourselves. Again, Sado Igueta, Gado Igueta, Kwajiye. Peace.